This is your weekend market review for Saturday, August 9th, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty and Scorpion Alchemia here with your weekend market review. Saturday, August, 9th, 2025. Hopefully you're having a great week. I'm excited about this weekend's market recap because we're at the crossroads for a lot of things within the market. And it's time to dig deep. So grab a pen, some paper, get ready to know your levels, know what to do next, because ultimately the market is in a place where it could be setting up traps in a way that puts people in a position to not take advantage of the prosperity and abundance that has come. But also, too, there's the potentiality that money is going to likely rotate, and how that rotation plays out is going to affect everyone's positions differently. So let's get deep into that. So if you're new to the channel, this is all about education, empowering folks to understand how to grow their financial portfolio. Again, whatever you end up doing, please consult with your financial advisor before acting on anything. This is more for education purposes and to empower you to understand what the market is. There's nothing new in trading. There's nothing new in the markets. Everything is repeating patterns, just like life, just like everything, that the people and the players change, but the patterns stay the same, right? So knowing this is how we try to find a probability-based edge in trading or investing. Again, everyone has different timelines, different personalities, and how they like to invest, how they handle risk. And so, again, our goal here is to give you the insights to make the decisions best for you. Ultimately, what you end up doing, own it. If you make the mistake, you learn from it, you grow. Hopefully the goal is to not make the same mistakes, because I see this all the time in people, just like in everything in potentialities of life, that we make the same mistakes over and over until we learn the lesson. So what are the lessons that need to be taught? Well, let's go into it, because again, right now we're into a market where it's going to be a little tricky here, because we're at some massive inflection points and some big things are happening. So again, new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. If you'd like to chat, hit the Calendly link in the description. Let's get together. If you're looking to go deeper, again, coaching that I'm involved with, yes, it is involved with finance, but as you can see, again, as we've always talked about in the Discord room, trading is not difficult. Investing is not hard. It's the disconnection from self-intuition and trusting and knowing that you have a plan and that you can stick to it, because ultimately we are going to be wrong in a probability-based game. You can get pocket aces and still lose, like if this was poker. So how you handle the mistakes, the problems, the things that happen, again, I don't think anything's really a mistake, as I've liked to learn, because everything is happening for me so that I can learn and grow and evolve. And that's the same thing in the market. So need help with that? Click on the links below. Let's connect. DM me. Also follow, like, subscribe, posting ideas and thoughts on X. Hard not to say Twitter. Also check out the YouTube channel. Plenty of content here. Again, all the videos are here, and also the education videos are in a line for you if you need. There's 52 of them. We'll do more if needed, but again, like, subscribe, and notification bell. If you'd like to donate, hit the thanks button. Even $1 is appreciated. Again, there's energy put into making these videos for you guys, and ultimately, we're here to help. How can we help? Well, again, this is where we say people got to be vulnerable, open, and be ready to receive insights, because again, if you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again, you feel, and again, the account balance is the true mirror, then there's something there going on. Is it really knowledge that's the problem? Maybe it's your strategies. Maybe it's how you handle risk. Again, we can go deeper into that at any point if you reach out. Check out the tradingagent.com. Also, again, this is the goal: turn profits into properties and passive income, right? Your goal is not to always be working, always having to invest heavily in the market, trying to make crazy returns, right? There will be opportunities, but again, it's things that we can only talk about directly with one person at a time, individually, because everybody is different, right? Everybody handles the markets differently. All right, fear and greed index, we're at 59. Not really, we talked about extreme greed. We got to pull back quickly. Some things have retraced bigger, some things have not. Some things are making new highs. Again, we're going deeper into that. Keep an eye on this, because again, we were in extreme fear. We know coming up, the Fed meeting in September they're expecting a cut. I don't know why it's not reloading. Maybe it's their weekend. Nope, here we go. There is a cut expected. The first of potential many. So we'll see what happens here. Again, we've talked about this. When the Feds start cutting rates as they get boxed into a corner, it's typically not because everything's fine and dandy, right? If they're really going to start cutting rates, it's because things potentially are deteriorating. Again, interest rate policy has a lagging effect, meaning whatever they did 6 months to a year in the past starts to show up now. That's how it works, right? Like if interest rates went higher, the market doesn't really necessarily get hurt until people start having to move into the higher interest rate modalities of the future. And that's when, again, cost of investing, cost of everything go up. All right, well, now that's been in play for a long time. We've seen Trump whine about it. Well, okay, are they going to get some sort of resolution? Because I think he recognizes too, like things will crumble pretty quickly, potentially, if not. So let's get into it. Bitcoin. We've talked about this one. I don't really trust it. Not to say that it can't go higher. Again, this is the probability game. If anyone's selling you certainty, run the fuck away. We talked about we like to see consolidation patterns break out with volume. We did not get the breakout with volume. Does that mean it can't go higher? No. But it's something that it's harder to trust. And notice what's happened since it broke out, right? It's gone really nowhere. So again, volume will come. Maybe it's waiting for the Fed meeting in September. I don't know. August can be very sneaky, choppy, right? If you don't have the Stock Traders Almanac, post the link in the description below. It's probably one of the best recommended readings, like Farmer's Almanac for farming. Well, same thing. There's reoccurring patterns and tendencies, obviously based on seasonality. Knowing that August is typically weaker for tech. Oil. We've noticed that, we think it's going to hold these mid 60s, right? Well, if the geopolitical terrain starts to soften, which it seems like it is, but again, we know it can change on a fucking dime. That's why it makes sense oil's pull back. Again, I like natural gas for the long run. It's just not going to be easy down here. We'll see what happens here. It's definitely in the chop zone. So when in doubt, be safe. Again, and when in doubt, if you don't think it's going to happen soon, move on. Dollars we've talked about, we got crushed, and now it's consolidating. It's really hard to tell what the next direction is going to be. There's no volume in markers here saying anything other than chop. It looks like the highs are somewhere around this 28 area. The lows are around 27. See what happens. Lay it as it is. TLT, again, we know Trump wants to get rates lower. We talked about this being, again, a lot of choppiness. Look how long this has been chopping out, for almost 6 months. Right now, the bottom feels like it's in, right? I'd be watching the 85 level. We need to get it. We're trying to attempt new highs, right? You can see there's another trend line coming in play here shortly. Again, everyone and their mom thinks rates are going lower. I'd like to see that. I think it'd be beneficial for the housing market, but we'll see what happens here. Because again, gold leads a big inflationary cycle, right? Gold has been telling us, and the commodities will start following at some point, or there's going to be a big collapse in gold and commodities and the markets potentially. But again, we'll talk about the rotation potentialities as we go through this. Right now, I personally believe, again, I think commodities have the safest upside and the smallest downside. Like if you got caught in a washout, I think they would bounce back the fastest. If that makes sense. VIX, look at this structure, right? Getting crushed. We talked about it due to bounce. We got it. Now we're right back at the range lows. We've talked about this before. This can happen. What's going to be the catalyst that lifts the VIX? You don't know until it happens. And I think that's what's so hard right now, right? Is people are going, oh, I think this, now, this, that. Hey, man, if you can, you got to, they're one of the greatest sayings my mentor said to me was, one of my mentors was, the person who believes in the magic crystal ball will eventually eat grounded glass, because it's not going to, you can't predict anything with certainty. So at this point, 15 area, just watch it. From here, goes higher, goes lower, or consolidates, right? We talk about the VIX typically bottoms first. It looks like it has, but it's still chopping, so it can't really get much off of that. SPY, again, we talked about shorting the highs, taking profits. Now we're right back. Again, I don't have any index shorts, but if you're watching, could this turn in, and this we talk about the potentialities, this can turn to a head and shoulders top where you make a slightly higher high. Or is it a double top? Or is this a breakout? Well, you really don't know. And again, if I'm betting on the seasonality of August, what's coming up, the economic data is falling off a cliff. Again, we don't know what they'll do ultimately near term to try to propagate this and hold it up. But the risk reward, in my opinion, is not to the upside. But it can be a situation where things change, right? Like that's where the mind has to be adaptive, right? We talked about calling the bottom. We thought it was so easy. So easy a caveman can do it at Geico. Now we're back at the highs, or new highs. We're chopping around. Use it as a reference. Take the mind out of what does your intuition say? My intuition says they're going to try to keep it up as long as they can, but this is where you're going to start deteriorating patterns within the market fundamentals, meaning like other names, other sectors, but then also seeing, okay, is the trash floating last? Because that's what I'm starting to see, some trash popping up here. And you'll be surprised by what I consider trash. QQQ, again, double topping, right? Just take note of it, right? I mean, I personally have semiconductor shorts that I'm up on, and then I have long in commodities. What you're doing, again, only you know, but ultimately be careful here, right? You came down with bigger volume and you're rising on lighter volume in the overbought position, right? Like, I don't think people really sometimes zoom out, like, look at the monthly on the Qs, right? We've had essentially, since the low, 5 straight up months. Now, does the pullback mean it's going to be like this flip over and roll over? Or is it just going to be a big consolidation candle with some pullback potential? You don't know until it happens. So again, we'll come back to the monthlies here and there when needed. IWM, as we talked about, peaked first, right? Lagging more. Notice that. Again, we want small caps to lead. I personally think, again, in the next bull cycle, all this money, all the tax regime that's been created will bring more money into the United States. Small caps will lead, not mega caps. Keep an eye on it. All right, we talked about gold leading the super cycle, right? Like, zoom out, right? Since the COVID lows, this thing has just been on fire. The Feds, what are they going to do? Now, this is the thing. I've said this many times. I don't anticipate gold really breaking out until either big geopolitical risk or the Fed say something that does something to break it out. Now, again, could this be the precipice for it? You don't know. Chop is a bitch. This is why we talk about taking profits and then watching. Because after big up moves, it leads to consolidation. High and tight is bullish. This seems high and tight, right? But I personally don't want to buy the highs because it hasn't broken out yet and confirmed it. So at this point, it's in your best interest to wait for the breakout or look for weakness. Miners seem to, or silver, right? Same thing. We like when the markets are led by silver in the commodity sector, right? I like to see it. Like, it just shows, again, it's one of the most suppressed metals out there. But when they can't suppress anymore, it really tells you a lot. It seems to be holding up pretty damn well, right? Miners, gold miners, broke out. Now will gold follow? This is the thing, right? And this is where it gets really damn tricky. Gold miners broke out. Gold's not following. Silver's not making new highs. Is this a trap or the start of a monster move? Now, if you bought the breakout, fuck yeah, right? Like, that's the play. But also don't be lulled into believing that it has to go higher immediately, right? This could be a trap. We've seen this before many times if you've been trading miners. GDXJ, juniors. Again, I think a year from now, 2 years from now, depending on where you got in, you're probably not going to think twice about it. But near term, this is where it gets a little tricky. Junior miners typically lead. They don't look as strong, right? Like, the big miners broke out, right? And start here. Look at this. This is where it's tricky, right? The juniors are the most leveraged, right? Well, the large caps are leading up. That's where I get a little nervous. AEM, again, I know some folks who bought this. AP, if you're listening, way, 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 way lower, down in the 40s and 50s, looking pretty good. Again, last 2 days, actually not really that amazing, but we'll see if it's just consolidation. AG, again, this is one like highly levered to silver, not really acting and looking that good here. Newmont, which we talked about, had to get over that 58 level, did. This one's been actually leading more. Okay, keep an eye on it, right? Like, the leadership can rotate. PAAS, another one that we've liked. Again, I think long-term, you're not going to have a problem. Tech, this is where it gets a little interesting, right? Because I think semiconductors are the short. Like, when you zoom out, you're like, look at the monthly again, like Taiwan Semi, right? Look at these names. Just kapow, right? Are they due for a red month? Red candle, whatever you want to call it. Worth a watch. They're chopping, consolidating at the highs. If you'd like to short, I mean, you have clear references, right? Like, just, again, I take notes as I do this. This is why it's so beneficial. Again, I apologize if the video is long, but this is what's, I mean, you're getting consolidated information very quickly on this stuff, and it takes time. And so I'd be watching, right? You get like that 245 plus, keep an eye on it, right? We talked about how Micron peaked first, one of them, right? Okay, nice little bounce this week. Trash popping last. People go, this is trash. Again, in my opinion, I think it is. It's not the leader of the sector, right? AMD, we talked about this one blowing off, but here's the problem, right? It had the big gap down with volume. Somebody knows something. Here's the reference point. Be careful. Again, I think semiconductor had more down. After the close, NVDA got approval to sell chips in China. Again, I feel like this is something that just continues to flip-flop all over the place. The market was, has been holding up, or this has been holding up pretty well. Again, I still think this is way overvalued because ultimately how the law of large numbers. But hey, you know what? I'm going to be wrong here. I don't mind admitting it. This looks a little funky up here. This red bar outside candle, then you're retesting. Keep an eye. You have this is where it makes it so simple. You have the reference, right? 180 plus. Just keep it fucking simple. SMCI, again, we've noticed with a lot of these names on earnings, they've all poo-pooed out. There we go. SMCI, same kind of thing. Intellectual property. I've said this for a long time. I think it's in a big chop range. There's no value in it unless it gets bought out. And even Trump is like, hey, your CFO or CEO needs to quit. I agree. If there's any value, we'll keep an eye on it. AVGO, right? This one's been holding up pretty well. Not much to say. Again, some look better than others. Some don't, right? We talked about that. SMH. This is where, again, if you started shorting this thing up near the highs, it's a very easy reference. Like, you don't have to overthink this, right? Just please don't, right? Like, look at it. Watch this upper 290s. Breaks out, cool. It goes higher. Or it could be a trap. If it's not, then we've got a problem for bulls, which, again, I think that's what makes sense to me. And again, this is where I'm pulling the monthly every once in a while. This thing went from 172 up to 300. When you really zoom out on this thing, you can see this thing's had massive pullbacks before. In 2000, I mean, this thing went from 52 down to essentially 5. Will that happen again? I don't know. Patterns repeat. Adobe, right? Let's get out away from that. This one's been another laggard, backtesting trend line. Probably worth a watch here, but again, some tech is not leading. Apple seems to have gotten all the exemptions to pop, which we talked about. This could be a consolidation nightmare, which it was since the April lows, and it broke out this week on what? Right? They're not going to get tariffed as hard. They're going to donate $600 billion to the United States again for infrastructure and growth and investment. How? They don't even make that much. They make like $95 billion in revenue a year. Again, I think these numbers are inflated. Again, whether you like Trump or not, it's fucking stupid, right? Like, I don't agree with that. Like, these guys are promising, like Micron promised $100 billion in investment. Like, how? Are they all going to, and they invest in the United States? Okay, again, this is where I think small caps make sense, the infrastructure to build this up. But to me, Apple is the trash floating last. So keep an eye on it, right? Amazon, Bezos can't sell fast enough. Literally. This thing has been consolidating for a while, gap down on earnings, no bounce back. Meta, this is one that I've taken a short in. Again, will I be right or wrong? I don't know. Been trying to short as much as I can near the highs, shorted on earnings near the highs, closed down on this day, knew that it could potentially chop around, starting to reload. Again, I have a full position as of right now based on a price entry is somewhere, I mean, again, the best way to estimate it, again, I've been trying to float in between the 760s and 770s. Taking my time, giving myself plenty of time, and I'm doing it via shorting the MET2. Very easy. This is a product that devalues, deteriorates, right? Because it has leverage built into it, so it's not like the stock Meta, right? Notice how Meta is making new all-time highs. MET2 is not. I like that. Hopefully, use it as you will. CRM, we talked about. This name has been just nothing, chopping around. Looks like shiitake. Google, here we go. Is it going? All right, we'll see. I mean, we talked about this thing for a while. Now you're back up at these highs. Keep an eye on it. Right? Again, there's plenty of AI shit out there. This is where it gets really tricky. I don't know the right answer. Look at Microsoft after this monster run, right? Zoom out on the monthly. This thing's been nuts. Okay? We talked about it likes dollar weakness. Boom. Look at that. That is a top. Now, does that mean it has to get crushed? That's the thing, right? It can be consolidation, or it can just pull back as natural, right? The ebbs and flows. NDAQ, I shorted this one and got stopped out. Been watching it. Keep an eye on it, because again, I don't think the Nasdaq is the future of investing. Like, people are going to be going to the other, again, in my opinion, CME, other modalities for trading, because tech will not be the leader of the next cycle. Again, it's not that it's going to bed or disappearing. It's just not going to have the same type of, again, once that money rotates, it's not going to stay. MicroStrategy, again, if Bitcoin's, look at this here. So here's an example of like Microsoft where you blow off top, then you consolidate. We can't even make new highs as Bitcoin's broken out. Something doesn't make sense. Netflix, we talked about the peak on this one and pulling back. Again, trash floating last. Everyone's excited about Netflix. Like, really? Why? This thing is gone. I mean, you missed the move. If you're really excited about it, you missed the fucking move. Excuse my language. Now up here, you're playing with fire. Not to say it can't go back to the highs, but I mean, what's the risk reward? That's the question you always have to ask yourself. Roblox, like this is one that we talked about that went nuts. And here's the same thing, blow off top. We talked about the bottom line. It's hard to like say calling the bottom, but we talked about the reference down here, the 200-day. Okay, is this consolidation? Right? You're seeing a lot of these blow off patterns. CrowdStrike, again, I like cybersecurity names. Look at this stuff. It's been absolutely getting just pounded last couple weeks. Right? All your favorite names. Again, not that I don't like these names, but fuck. Now they're in a big consolidation pattern. I'd be waiting for lows. I don't trust tech. Again, I don't see a clear bottom yet, so I don't want, again, the probability is not showing it. Tesla, again, another one that just trash leading, lasting, or last. Well, again, whether you believe it's trash or not, I really don't care, but I would be watching downtrends because, again, Tesla is great. When it breaks downtrends, it typically goes. When it doesn't, it typically gets kind of sucky, right? I mean, you can see them in the past, right? And there was one right here. Keep an eye on this one. Oh boy. All right, some of the other names that we follow. Palantir, again, I mean, we've been talking about this one for like forever. Like, I don't know where the top is. Do I want to step in and short it? No. If you own it, congrats. Let it rip. Raise your stops. It is looking a little sketchy. Like, look at the monthly. I mean, $6 to I don't know what the right price is, but fudge. That's a huge move. Keep an eye on it. Again, the worst case scenario, and this is what I'm trying to warn anyone who's long it. It's not that that it's going to collapse. I don't think that's the case. But what I'd be worried about is that it consolidates and goes nowhere. And then you have opportunity costs where you could have taken some profits, waited for some pullbacks, and invested in other places. And people are like, oh, I just buy and hold it forever. Okay. Again, I think I always laugh at the people who say, like, yeah, I just hold forever. I mean, a healthy stock has a 30, 40% pullback in its lifetime, many times. Go look at Apple. Look at all your favorite names. Could that happen here? I don't know. INCY, I mean, I do know it's just a matter of when, but from what price. Talk about this being a buyout target. If you bought in the 50s, congratulations. HIMS, again, I've said this, I'm on record. I'm like, well, this is a trading vehicle. To invest in this long term, I think you got to be high as a fucking kite. What they do has no boundaries. People can imitate any of this shit. We'll keep an eye on it. Baba, man, we talked about this one at the 100 level. Looks good. McDonald's, right? We talked about this one chopping around. It's been all over the place. Starbucks, talked about this one buying this at the lows, and now it's in consolidation phase. Kind of seems ugly. Airbnb, right? Gaps down on earnings. And then what? I mean, this is just big consolidation pattern. Sometimes you want to get the fuck out of the way. Coin, look at this move, right? This is what scares me about Palantir. Not to say that, again, that this will happen, but when you get in these overbought conditions, this is what can happen. Again, nothing new here. DKNG, we talked about this, shorting this one in the mid-40s. Nice work. Costco, right? This one typically starts popping when the market looks a little weaker. Keep an eye on this one. Held the trend line. FedEx, this has been all over the place. This doesn't really look that good. You're thinking the market economy is great. FedEx should be cooking. XLF, this is where financials start now. They're starting to look weak. Right? We talked about them just blasting off. Okay, well, they're either consolidating to go higher or this is the top. Had a nice run. Had a really nice run. Keep an eye on it. Again, longer term, it's more about, we're talking about near-term predictions. Hood, we talked about this. Own this one. One of our accounts. Looks good. Do I trust it? Not really. It's hard to say that, right? And just be honest about it. But yeah, I really don't. Like, this had a nice run. Right? I will hedge this with options. JP Morgan, I know some folks who are shorting this one. Looks fine to me. 295. I mean, this is where, again, whether you're shorting or buying, it's no different. Like, what you define your risk? No one knows until you fucking bet it. Like, that's my favorite saying. You don't know until you bet. Everything is just a projection until you actually live it. Right? Morgan Stanley looks sloppy and choppy. Bank of America, right? A lot of these names, they look like they've peaked. Goldman Sachs, chopping around. Carry's a big one, right? We talk about junior banks leading. What do you see there, guys? Now, again, it doesn't mean they can't bounce from here, but it doesn't look good. Not leading up. Market makes highs. What are these doing? Not. Jets, as we talked about, this one's been kind of all over the place. XHB, right? Watch the housing index. It's been bottoming, right? We talked about it bouncing. To me, this is another. Housing is not by any means fixed. Right? What's going on? It's still pretty crappy. I don't know how you want to draw this, but that's, like I said, broke the downtrend. Now what? Channeling its way higher, right? Do you see the channel? Something like that, right? Okay. Keep an eye on it. I'm not a big fan of, again, as I try to do this live, like I'm not a big fan of trying to extrapolate too much from this. It was oversold, right? Even the trash floats, but keep an eye on it, right? Housing is not easy. As a realtor, I can tell you right now, it is not easy. All right, let's get into some of the commodities. XLB, because this is where, again, if you stick around, this is where the money's going to be made, in my opinion. We talked about the materials names look good. Pulling back, we talked about this. Anything in the mid-80s looks good. Dow Chemical, we like this name, but again, we traded it, but also when it has earnings, this is why I always tell people to get out of the way. Look at this. Pow. They cut their dividend, got crushed. Now it's back testing old trend lines. Might be worth a snag there. Again, define your risk. No one knows for sure. CE, again, dropped down. A lot of these names fell on Dow's name. Look at this stuff, right? These are big consolidation patterns, in my opinion. Right? I'm just writing these prices. 68.48 area looks pretty damn juicy. Caterpillar, again, we like the mining names, right? Like, look at these guys. Cooking, okay, but overbought. Same thing with Deere, right? Like, they get into this, like, they go nuts. And here you go. They lead to some consolidation. Keep an eye on it. Nucor, again, I like steel. Tariff stuff, will it get figured out? Is it priced in? I don't know. You zoom out and you go, okay, looks like consolidation pattern. Off of the lows. IIIN, right? We talk about this name. After a nice run, here you go. Breaks the downtrend. Now it's consolidating. I have an alert here. I'd love to see it down in the mid-30s. VALE, we talked about buying this one again, trading around it. But you see on point, like when you zoom out on these names, you just look at their valuation, you look at what's going on in the world. Like these companies are trading basically dirt cheap valuations. Like what's the downside? Right? These are ones where I feel like, again, if you got caught in some sort of market swoosh, they don't have massive downside. They have great bases with volume, people supporting the prices. That's why we talk about like every dip is a buy. A lot of these names. Arrow, same kind of thing, right? Like whatever's going on with the tariff land, great. Don't give a shit in the sense of like, all right, when it's over, it's over. We've been trading it, giving you the entries, talking about the levels. Congrats. FQBLF, another one interesting, like chopping around. SCCO, again, when everything dropped on the copper tariffs, right? Look at this bouncing right back. We gave you the levels. Freeport was one that I went in pretty heavy. We talked about this one at like the 38 level. Ding, 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 ding. Right? Like, do yourself a favor. Notice what's working, what's not. URNJ, again, we like the nuke stuff. Little overbought. Oklo. Again, I like Oklo, but I'm out. I'll wait to come back to this. Oh, it's breaking out. Oh, okay. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. I mean, if you bought it in the 50s and rode it up into the 70, 80 range, nice trade. CCJ, again, another one we like. But do I want to get caught chasing this? Because it feels like, again, it just needs to go in the consolidation pattern. Let the consolidation play out and then look for other names, right? Like, what is the best trade now? That's what you have to always ask yourself if you're trading. Look at CF. Again, we like the ag names. They've pulled back, right? It looks like a lot of the stuff geopolitically makes sense, right? Like if Russia gets Eastern Ukraine, again, there's a lot of stuff related to ag materials. See what happens here. But CF, I don't know where the bottom is, but man, if you zoom out, right? Big consolidation pattern. I would assume you're not that far away, right? I'd be watching that 79 area. Ding, 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 ding. Hint, hint, hint. Mosaic, right? Same kind of thing. Big drop down after a nice up move, right? Look, I mean, I'd be watching that 29 area, right? Like you have to have this on your radar, in my opinion. NTR, right? Here's another one we like, right? Like let these guys play out. SQM, here's I mean, again, ANH, same thing. I mean, I'm watching, look at this thing. like lithium. How do you not like lithium? You go zoom out, like it's gotten fucking smashed. Look at the action. You were like, oh God, see, this is telling you. You don't know which one of these names is going to pop first, but we saw it with MP and some of these other ones. Look at this, right? If you bought this at fucking 36, 2 days later, you're feeling pretty good. AA is another one. Again, we like aluminum. I love all these names. Again, if you're building out this great AI future and all this technology, you need inputs. We're heavily underinvested, meaning like the valuation on these things are not expensive by any means. Check out, watch the 28. Again, Kalu is another one. Keep this on your radar, right? Putting this one on, like I'm just watching this, like going, 71, 72. Thank you very much. MP, again, rare earth metals. Love rare earth metals. Again, who bought this down in the 20s? You bought the pullback at 29. Here we go. Now, again, near term, it's probably a little overbought, right? It's priced in the best case scenario, hence by the candle formation on Friday. Who's next, right? REMX is a great avenue, I think, if you zoom out. It's a great fucking, like, look at the volume on the monthly, y'all. Or, sorry, the weekly. Look at this thing. Look at the volume. Is somebody buying rare earth metal stocks? You bet your sweet ass they are, right? It's very obvious, right? Now, will MP continue to go higher? I don't know. Maybe they start going into them. Again, if you have any recommendations on some of the rare earth names, drop them in the comments below. Hit me up in the Discord room. I'll go deeper into their charts. TMC is another one that we talked about. Again, sorry about the video, but not really. This is for your education. We like these names. Let them pull back. Cliff, another one that makes sense. Pullbacks, right? Like, just let them play out, man. I don't know. But if the market does pull back from here, could these names become the rotation? I've seen this before where the market pulls back and some stocks just literally go higher the whole time because, like, they know that whatever the pullback is based on is because they're dumping old leaders and they have to find a home. Go to your ball. Go to your home, ball. Keep an eye on it. Well, oil, again, we like oil, but I'm not going to chase it. If we know the geopolitical risk is going to unwind, keep an eye on it. UNG, again, I hate this product, right? Took a short in the KOLD around 30, ended up going slightly higher. Okay, I'm out. Again, I'll keep an eye on it. XOP, I like oil and gas names, right? But here's the thing, right? They consolidate. I'm waiting for the break of the downtrend. I don't know if I really can jump in these names. Again, we like to watch gasoline names to lead first. They're starting to pull back or have been pulling back. So at this point, all right, let them consolidate. ExxonMobil, I know some folks are looking at this one. Again, could this be dead money chopping? I don't know. We know BP is a takeout target. We've said this many times, right? Shell's going to buy them, holding up pretty damn well. Occidental, Uncle Warren ain't going to lose, y'all. Keep an eye on this one, chopping around. Devon Energy. I like all these names, right? If they get whooshed out, maybe. Right? Apache, we talked about this and buying this at 18. Looks pretty good. Lyondell Base got smoked down with Dow Chemical. I'm like taking notes. I'm like, this one looks interesting. Where and when? Like I just put this on your radar list. Radar. CVE, again, this one's been holding up pretty well. LNG, again, I like natural gas exporting names. They've been really choppy, right? I like EQT. I've talked about this one, like watching this one around the 200 day, right? Traded the pop, didn't get much, closed out, traded again, took the pop here and just said, leave it alone. For some reason, that was my intuition. Got lucky. Now what? Chopping around. Okay, cool. Solar names, I forgot. I don't know why sometimes I skip these. Look at the ticket. You know, we talked about these leading up when oil was rising. Now they're pulling back and chopping around. Nothing wrong with them. Some of these names better than others. I don't like ENPH. First Solar has been holding up really damn well. Keep an eye on this again. But if oil prices kind of drop back here in the 60s, consolidate, is this going to break out? That's the question. Again, it looks primed to, but when is the question? HYG, it might be in the fall, is my opinion. HYG holding up high and tight. Last but not least, Flex LNG. Again, I think we'll be natural gas exporters. Said this many times, right? Look at this. Talk about trading the channel. Look, gapped up, got out of the channel, right? And here you go. Keep it on this stuff. Again, I mean, just do your diligence. Like, I appreciate it that when people leave feedback, leave a comment below. Let me know I can help. Again, if you want to chat, I'm always up for a 20-minute discussion. If you want to go deeper at some point, we can figure that out as well. But ultimately, you are the one making the decisions. Do not put this on someone else. Again, like, your education is worth investing in yourself. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Always here to help. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. peace in the Middle East and everywhere else. Holler at your boy. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.